I can't believe the baby actually appeared in Squid Game Season 3. I didn't think it was possible. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how the baby appearing was the worst thing that could have happened in Squid Game Season 3. The baby set the future for most of the players, including deaths and decisions made. And it was devastating. Me and many other YouTubers were wondering before Season 3 came out, will the baby be born in or out of the games? But now we know the final truth. Before Season 3 came out, Haewon-duk Yuk, the director of the show, stated that the baby will be a major part of the final season story, and oh boy, was he right. He was more than right. Like and subscribe right now if you binge watched the entire show, because I did. I truly believe that the baby affected everything in a negative way, and you guys are going to understand why real soon. Alright, so let's talk about why the baby was the worst thing that could have happened to the players and for the fate of Ji-hoon at the very end. So, I first want to start off at the maze tag game. We can first take a look at Kim Jun-hee and her baby when she's picking the team color in the maze game, and we can all see just how pregnant she is. I mean, literally, she looks like she's about to give birth, and later we saw what's up. So what is the first cause of the baby to impact a player in a negative way? In episode 2 Starry Night, we can see Kim Jun-hee, Cho Hae-won-ju, and Geum-ja running to find the exit door, and as they walk up the stairs, Kim trips. And this isn't just any trip. She's having a hard time running since she needs to hold the weight of her baby, so ends up tripping and falling to the ground, spraining her leg. And it's not looking good. If you guys think that was the only effect of the baby, you're completely wrong. Because then a red player arrives. Her falling caused them to all be in a position of the red player being right in front of them, which caused Hae-won-ju to be in the risk of death, since it was her duty to protect both Geum-ja and Kim right behind her. The baby was a huge burden to Hae-won-ju, and I feel so terrible for her. She doesn't deserve to be in this position. Fast forward, after Hae-won-ju absolutely demolished the other red player, Kim is unable to walk. So all of them have to make it to a room where they have to sit down and take a chill pill, putting Geum-ja and Hae-won-ju in a very vulnerable position if a red player enters from behind them. Kim's leg is not looking good at all. At this point, we could understand where her fate was leading her, but I still felt comfortable with her staying alive because she had a baby still, and her baby was her own shield. I don't think the show would have killed her off as long as she held the baby. The show is dark, but it's not that dark, guys. But then something happens that no one expected to occur, and for it to happen so early. Kim Jun-hee's water broke. If you guys don't know what that means, that's when a pregnant woman is going into labor and could potentially need the baby to come out ASAP. There couldn't have been a worse time for the baby to come out, with the timer running out soon and how big and confusing the maze tag game is. But Kim Jun-hee needed to deliver. With all this commotion going on, all of them are being distracted by the baby coming out and finally the baby being delivered. But then something shocking happens. Something that shouldn't have happened when Kim just gave birth. A red player, 202, enters the room, and yet again, Hae-won-ju has to put herself in danger to take care of Geum-ja and Kim and her baby. At this point, they're really being a huge burden on her. Hae-won-ju already did enough for them. Hae-won-ju ends up battling against the player 202 and does successfully end up killing him, but she's badly hurt now with a stab wound in her leg. The baby so far has made her fought 2 players on her own, but you know what, guys, she doesn't care because she is a great human overall and will continue to keep fighting for them no matter what. Kim does not deserve Hae-won-ju by her side, in my opinion. She's a pregnant lady that should have not made it into the games. And after all these crazy things occurred, after Hae-won-ju fought player 202, she found the exit to the door and had the chance to leave at that exact moment, but she then remembered Kim, the baby, and Geum-ja was still there, so went back to tell all of them that she found the exit. And sadly, the worst thing happened, and it broke me. Haewon-ju got stabbed when she was distracted by them when she opened the door. She had the chance to leave, but with the baby in the way, she came back for sure. Absolutely devastating. So this is one negative cause for the baby on behalf of Haewon-ju's death. Alright, so the next negative cause for the baby was actually another death, which happened to affect Park Young-sik. We got to a point in the maze tag game where we could see Park Young-sik had no kills yet, and in order to advance the maze tag game as a red player, you needed to kill one blue player, as brutal as it sounds. As Geumja and Kim are trying to escape, they look behind them, and Geumja sees her own son. Park Young-sik desperately looks at Kim as he's approaching them. At this point, we all knew what his intention was. I mean, you can't blame him. He knows he will die in 1 minute if he doesn't get one blue player kill. As he's approaching Kim, his own mother gets in the way and tells him, "No, you can't do this," even going as far as telling him, "You can stab me instead." But we all know Park Young-sik won't kill his own mother, so he ends up shoving his mother to the side and goes up to Kim Jun-hee and ends up holding a knife to her and tells them, "I'm sorry." And when he holds the knife up and is about to stab them, this scene was so intense, guys. As he's about to stab her, the most shocking thing happens. The director really made the show dark, because what the heck did we just see? His own mother stabs him to protect Kim and her baby. His own mother stabs her own baby just to protect another one. Like, what? I can't believe Park Young-sik died because of his mother protecting another woman's baby. How could she do this to him? Geumja just met Kim in the games. She could have at least stabbed him in the leg. This scene got me more mad than sad, because if it wasn't for that baby, maybe, just maybe, Park Young-sik would still be alive. This is what I mean, guys. The baby has done more damage than you all think when you see it from this perspective. Anyways, let's move on to the next reason why the baby was the worst thing to happen in Squid Game Season 3. Alright, so how else did the baby have an effect on the player's destiny? In episode 3, It's Not Your Fault, we came into a scene where the players wake up because it's the next day and the guards come into the dormitory with a coffin. At this moment, I thought, who the heck could be inside? No one else died. Could it be a player that's still alive? Then to realize that it was actually a player that took their own life in the dormitory. Geumja. Jihyun's reaction to Geumja taking her own life away broke me more than her actually dying. I don't know why, but the music and his face together really tore me apart. Anyways, if it wasn't for her killing her own son, she would have never taken her own life away, and the only reason she took her own son's life away was because she protected that baby again. Geumja ended her life because there was no other option for her to be alive anymore. She was only competing in the games to better her life and her own son together. With her son gone, even if she won all the money, she would be depressed for the rest of her life because of what she did to her own son. She wouldn't have been able to live with that. Do you guys see how annoying this baby really is now? The baby was the cause for a chain of many deaths, and it only gets worse from here. We then come to approach the 5th game, which is absolutely shocking to see on the TV show. There was a massive leak of this game before that Netflix didn't want out, but when we got to see it on the TV show, it hit completely different. In one scene, Kim sits down and Jihyun checks on her to see what's wrong. Jihyun is being very good about all this, caring about Kim this well. He checks on her ankle and it's completely swollen, like badly. If Kim was never pregnant, who knew if she would have ended up tripping that badly? Now, the players are in the game where the legs are the main priority, to jump and to run as they try to get to the other side of the bridge. Kim is clearly unable to walk, so Jihyun offers to carry her own baby and to try get to the other side of the bridge. Jihyun does pass successfully, but he almost fell multiple times because of the weight of the baby. He could have died because of that baby just then. And for Kim, yes, she ended up taking her own life away at the end because she was not able to walk at all. Her ankle was that bad. Jihyun offered to come help her when there was 1 minute on the timer before it ended in the rope bridge game, but she told him not to come and told him to promise to take care of her baby to do that instead. I really didn't expect to see Kim die, especially this early, but like I said, that baby was her shield. So I guess that's the only good thing about the baby when you come to think about it that way. Alright, so let's talk about the final reason how the baby was the worst thing to occur in Squid Game Season 3. And honestly, this one is the most devastating reason because this player also died from the baby. He should have gone back home and reunited with his daughter. That would have been a much better ending. We now approach the final game, and there is 9 finalists included in this game, which is unreal. I speculated in my previous video that there would be 5 finalists in this final game. Haewon-ju, Kim Jun-hee, Min-soo, Jihyun, and Lee Myung-gi. I got 3 out of 5, not bad, right? Anyways, in the final game, how it works. Players have to move from one pillar to the other after they started a timer limit, and they would need to kill a certain amount of players on each pillar. At the end, it was Lee Myung-gi and the baby. 3 of them, meaning 1 needed to die. Jihyun, the man, ended up winning by Lee Myung-gi falling. He didn't actually kill him though, but sad news, Jihyun didn't press the button to start the timer yet, which means someone still needed to die. It was between Jihyun and the baby in the last few minutes. We all knew the baby wasn't going to die. Jihyun would have never in a million years done that act. Yet again, the baby got in the way of Jihyun's fate. If it was any other person, Jihyun would have won, but since it was a baby, there was no way he could have killed it, or even the show killing it. Jihyun made the right choice in the end. He also set an example for the nasty VIPs as well, and in Ho, that kindness in humans won against evil. Jihyun won everyone's respect that day when he took his life away to save a baby's that wasn't even his. Truly a heroic human. I'm still sad thinking about his death, but he got what he wanted in the end, to take the games down by the island exploding in the very end. So yes, the baby was a tragedy in Season 3 in my opinion. Even if Jihyun's fate was in line from the baby, it still didn't have to cause so many of the main players to die so quickly in the first game. They could have at least added 1 more player to the finalist, making it more interesting. I really wonder to this day how Haewon-ju would have acted if she was in the final game. That would have been extremely interesting to see. Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. If you guys have any ideas at all for future videos in Season 3, please let me know. I'll be giving the person that gives me the best idea a shout out in my next video if I end up picking that topic. I will definitely take your guys' ideas into consideration. But that's about it for the second video of Season 3, and I had a lot of fun making this. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care everyone, have a great rest of your day, goodbye.